Mr. Yo, I would like to ask about how do you actually address how to actually address radicalism and extremism in multi-religious and multi-ethnic and multicultural country like Malaysia and also Indonesia, because sometimes we might not be aware of what we're facing is actually a like uh, a form of radicalism and extremism, but we might find it like, yeah, it's a normal thing to do because, yeah, probably we've been seeing that quite a lot of times.
Okay, thank you for the questions. I think there are three phases involved. Firstly, how do we prevent it from happening? And secondly, what do we do when there are differences that need to be managed among the community of different race, religion, and culture? And then thirdly, what can bring them together? What can bring together the social cohesion to prevent this thing from happening again? So in phase one, I would say that the there should be an ongoing initiative from continuous and sustained initiative, not only from the government agency, but also all the stakeholders in this aspect in countering radicalizations and extremism. The first aspect we need to do is to build relationship and improve understanding of between and of each other. This is important because if something doesn't happen naturally, then sometimes it must be by design. Then the situation will change. Right? Where maybe like for example, like maybe we have already enjoyed the independence of this country for quite some time already from the previous colony and so on. And sometimes we didn't have the experience of going through the hardship like what our ancestor did. And then after a period of stabilizing our country, then we enter into other phase where we focus more on the economic development and the social development. And then we had a different experience compared to our ancestor, and then different issues arise. Therefore, we whether by natural or by design, we need to have more initiative to promote better understanding and better relationship. This can be achieved by interfaith interactions in the form of dialogue, activities, and then we go to the second phase. When differences arise, how do we manage them? If we choose the typical approach of we just suppress them, we just make sure the minority won't be hurt, if we even ignore their demands for equality and so on, then the problem either the community will be marginalized or this can provoke a more extreme, more violence response from that particular group. So in order to change the status quo. And then in terms of how to manage these differences, like in Malaysia, we have two national level coordinating committees in the form of MCC BJST, comprising of representative of non-Muslim religion of faith in this committee to reflect any feedback to the government and to resolve any national level issues. Then we also have one under the Ministry of Unity called Harmony. It's more towards the platform to coordinate and to disseminate information to a variety of regions organization. We also can have more approach that can be non-punitive and not top-down or not punishing in nature, which one of them is mediation. We can have this mediation training among many different groups like school teachers, even the religious activists, and even our royal police. We can have this approach, this mindset to change, not necessarily must start with punishing, must start with escalating the conflict, but there are alternatives that allow the sides to calm down and then try to make a compromise to achieve a better outcome. Then thirdly, I think this is a very important phase for maybe perhaps both our country is we need to have an immersive experience of all Malaysians and Indonesia working together to to build something or to achieve a common goal, whether it is in the field of community building or even we can also like youth like us can also play a role in efforts like counter narrative. When we know that someone is spreading misinformation about a certain religion or a certain race, we can have responses to inform people on what is right and what is wrong. Then I think this is, I think, Brother Isaac expertise as well. We also, like, for example, we also have this national action plan on preventing and countering violent extremism, NAPPCVE. This is also something that people of different religion, race can come together and work together. This goal of preventing this extremism and radicalization from uh, planting the seed among the young generation. So this is what I want to emphasize. We need to have a unique experience of us doing something together so that we have the sense of ownership, and then we put our faith as one body instead of, oh, this is the matter of only that religion. So we want to make sure that this is a common agenda of all the citizens and not only belong to one side responsibility.
Okay. And what we are doing now, like creating an online forum for both religion, I believe that this is a form of preventing the radicalism and extremism itself, right?
Yeah, this it belongs to phase
Mm-hmm.
one, where we have a more thorough understandings of what religion, what each religion and what each country is doing. So this is a promising step, but there are also phase two and phase three that we must also put sustained effort in.
Okay, okay. All right. Thank you, Mr. Yo.